It's the Dublin Special Master.
Live and direct.
Breakfast with CubCamTV.
Trickstar Radio.
What's happening, people? We're back inside the building once again. Welcome back to Breakfast with Kovu here on the Big Bad Trickstar Radio. We're in the building from 7 till 10, Monday to Friday, and it's time for us to jump into today's edition of the Interview Hour. Now, we've got a very special guest joining us this morning. Obviously, that first tune there, we heard it goes by the name of Bally, and that pretty much tells you all you need to know about the quality we are working with this morning. An incredible rapper, someone who's making absolute moves right now. Man like Skripture joins us on the line. How are you doing, sir?
I'm all good, man. Dono, thank you very much for having me, man. I appreciate it.
Each and every time, man. It's one I've been looking forward to ever since the email popped up. I've been looking forward to getting into the conversation because I feel like it's going to be a good one. How's your morning going so far?
All good, man. All good. Just kind of getting ready off of a studio session last night. So just kind of getting to grips with waking up. But I'm all good, man. How about you?
Yeah, good, bro. Good. I'm looking forward to getting into the conversation. That's what's driving me forward. I've said that 30 times this morning. I'm obviously after the travesty of the football last night. It's got me in a bad way, but we move, bro. We move.
Yeah, dope, man. Me too, bro. I'm a United fan, so let's not even talk about it.
Yeah, we'll stay as far away from it as we possibly can. Sorry for bringing it up. I know it's still already cutting deep.
All good.
But there we go. So we're gonna kind of start this interview off with a bit of background on yourself. Like, do you want to kind of talk me through your sort of early days, kind of pursuing this sort of musical vision? Like, talk me through the sort of the how it all kicked off for you.
Boy, well, luckily for me, my dad's a musician, so he's a singer and he's a guitarist as well. So obviously, seeing him play music in the house and doing shows and doing what he's doing, that kind of influenced me and my brother to get involved. He left like instruments lying around the yard, so I just picked up like a acoustic guitar that had 3 strings missing, and I just started running it. And he was like, "Right, if you get good, I might give you a proper thing." So he gave me a proper bass, and then we started playing in church and schools and whatnot. And then obviously once we grew up and got into music ourselves in terms of the music that we like, I started producing and working with different artists, and then got into a band later on with my brother, 3 guys from LA. We started touring and then making music together, and I think that ended probably about good 5 or 6, 7 years ago. And I just started doing my own stuff, and I end up here, man. So that's the journey in a very, very short nutshell.
Amazing, man. So you've come at it from a very kind of musical background rather than, I suppose, the more traditional kind of rap background.
Yeah, real talk. Yeah, I started, like I said, like in church and playing instruments in school, and then when you're like recording guys from your hood, you just end up knowing how to do what you want to hear in it. So when you're trying to get them to do the vocals or whatever, you start to pick up on, actually I like that lyric, or I might like that melody line, and then you start recording your own ideas. Then you realise, actually, you know what, I might just try a thing myself. So then it kind of branches into you doing your own stuff as well, man. So yeah, it kind of happened that way.
100%. I mean, what do you feel the catalyst was for you kind of, not necessarily moving away from the more sort of instrumental side of things, but what do you think the catalyst was that really made you go, you know what, I'm on rap now, this is what I want to do?
To be fair, it's half influence and half me growing up and wanting ownership of my own stuff, because I feel like if I'm playing for someone else, I feel like I'm helping facilitate their dream and, their own vision and their own expression of their music. And I was like, right, I've got something to say as well, to be fair. So, and I'm quite opinionated, so I felt like, the best way for me to express myself as well, and is to do it myself. And I've got, and I got quite good feedback from just playing ideas and things to people, and people were like, "Yo, you're actually quite good," or "You can sing, you got a little voice," or whatever it is. So I just thought, all right, cool, let me just try and see what happens. And then just from there, that was really the inspiration as well.
Amazing. I mean, listening through Bally, obviously, I want to talk through that tune because the second it kind of hit me this morning, I did kind of go, okay, cool, yeah, we need to actually take this one to the level and dive into the sort of musicality of you, because you do seem to have a lot of strings to the bow.
Oh, I appreciate that, bro. Thank you a lot, man. Bally's a bit of it's a personal experience, but most of my songs start from me making the beat. So luckily, because I produce, it's easy for me to kind of put my vision onto my own stuff. And so it started from that, just personal experiences of being portrayed and just going through just life on the street and just dealing with different people and different things and situations. And it's always a bit of a madness when someone close to you kind of betrays you. So I just thought, why not just speak on that perspective rather than it being like an enemy or someone, a complete stranger. I like to talk about family members or friends, best friends and things like that that have done you wrong. And so that's where the tune was. That's what inspired the song. So I'm glad people are feeling it 100%.
Definitely, man. I mean, it just on a musical level as well, it does seem to take you in so many different places. How has the response been to that one? Because it's obviously quite a controversial topic to an extent. Like, how have people reacted to it when they've seen it popping up on the timeline?
Yeah, a lot of people have reacted really well. I mean, I'm grateful that people react well to my music as well, and that they can relate to some of the situations I'm talking about. And naturally, I'm trying to, because I probably came up in the era where live music and stuff was at the forefront. My melody lines and my harmony and stuff in my production kind of stands out as well. So I'm glad people still see the production value in the music that I make as well. Not that none of the new music isn't great as well, which is something that I tap into as well. But it's nice to be able to go through different eras and still do stuff that kind of has an old school reminiscent feel and still get a good response from it. So I'm proper happy, man, and appreciate that.
100%, man. I mean, just listening through that tune there, I did hear that what you just said there, that sort of old school kind of feel. There are so many different kind of eras, I suppose, of rap music kind of layered into that one. It's almost like kneading bread, That's what it's that's the kind of feeling we're getting off it. And I think kind of speaking. Anytime, I love complimenting people on their sound, bro. It's my favorite thing to do.
Appreciate that.
I mean, kind of looking at your kind of evolution and more particular, when we're looking at obviously lockdown and there being a lot of emotion kind of driving into your music, would you say that sort of lockdown experience has affected your out, not necessarily even the amount you're putting out, but what you've been putting out?
Not necessarily because of the pandemic itself, but more so just because you have a lot more time to focus on the issues and events that have been popping off at the moment. So it gives you a lot of time to be in your thoughts and a lot of time to kind of just to express yourself really in those areas and stuff. So the lockdown has definitely made it. Obviously, like you said, productivity's gone up because of time as well. But just being able to be in your own zone and be in your own little bubble and just focus on yourself, and that's kind of helped me propel my music forward as well. So I know the pandemic's been a bit of a madness, concerning people's health, but in terms of business and in business for particular people, for music, it's been really good for me. So the pandemic's really helped, man.
I think that it's such an interesting kind of scenario to find yourself in, and it does give me another question which I'm keen to see, because some people, especially more musical people, I tend to find musical musicians, which is such a bizarre thing to say, but I think you know what I mean by that.
Yeah, I get what you mean.
But there are some sort of more musical musicians who tend to be very kind of keen on being around other people and making music with other people the whole sort of time. Although I'm getting the impression from yourself you are more of a kind of, I suppose, kind of standalone kind of guy when it comes to putting stuff together.
Yeah, real talk. To be fair, I've got a small circle, and we don't really branch out that much. So, which is probably, it could have been my downfall as well, I guess, in some areas. But I literally, because I want to be self-sufficient, and sometimes you haven't got the resources to pay for this man to do this or get this guy to do that. I kind of taught myself everything I know. So in terms of production and my bass playing or my musicianship, I kind of taught myself. So I just felt like it's best to kind of do that, and that therefore I haven't really got to rely on a lot of other people. I probably do need to do a bit more collaborations, to be fair, but again, I reckon that will happen once my name spreads a bit more, rather than me phoning people and trying to ask them, or DMing people trying to ask them. So I guess I hope people might want to see more collaborations from me in the future, and hopefully that will happen. But at the moment I'm a bit of a standalone guy at the moment.
I mean, I really enjoy that though. I love seeing when people kind of, I see people almost as like mad scientists, kind of putting all these different elements together and coming up with these incredibly musical bodies of work. And we're going to get into another tune next from yourself, and it goes by the name of Do It. So talk to me about this tune, the sort of context behind it and how it came together.
Yeah, the context behind Do It is kind of just like, I've got a group of friends who obviously we've all been involved in different things, and just seeing them persevere through that, and kind of just end up making themselves bosses by owning their businesses, or starting their own clothing line or whatever it is that they're doing, and it was inspiring, and it was kind of a song just based off like hoping that we get every one of us gets to the place that we want to be in, success wise. And so that was kind of the motivation behind that, like saying that all the stuff that we've done and just hoping that we do succeed in the plans that we make. So that was the motivation behind that. So it's kind of like a song really for my brethren and really for like that represents us as a whole. But yeah, that's the inspiration behind that song.
The most interesting thing for me about listening through this conversation is almost like the thought process behind concept of what you're writing a lot of the time. Because obviously you do have that musical kind of element on your side. Would you say to an extent it's given you the advantage where you can focus in more on the concept side because you haven't actually got to worry as much about putting the musicality together because you know it's going to happen naturally?
Yeah, I guess so, and I guess it's just it happens naturally to me. I mean, the people that I've listened to, they've always drawn from real life experiences. So I guess in order to replicate their level of their standard and the output that they've done, I guess I'm subconsciously replicating that musical level. And all the music I listen to, like Kendrick's and Jay-Z's and stuff, they've always like had like interludes and just been inspired by their surroundings and their environment. And so yeah, that's just trickled down to me, and a lot of my friends have encouraged me to do more, because in the beginning I used to actually like not speak about my personal experiences a lot, but then I realized that in order to get people to relate to me or understand me and know who I am, I had to kind of open that door into my personal life. So that's what I've started doing. So yeah, man, it definitely comes from that place.
100%. I mean, it's so interesting to listen to, and it's absolutely great getting you on the phone this morning. We're going to jump into this one, and then we're going to get into a bit more conversation about what we can expect in the future and sort of what's directly next for you. It's just gone 9:15 here on Trickstar Radio. We are live on the phone with Skripture this morning. It's the interview hour on Breakfast with KXVU. This one goes by the name of Do It, so keep it locked.
This is Breakfast with KXVU, bringing you their morning flavors on Trickstar Radio.
Trickstar Radio.